We purchased the lodge in 1989.
We do stuff just about any time of the year. Wild turkey in the spring. We have about 35 remote trout ponds. So we offer remote brook trout pond fishing. And then that goes into bear hunting, which then goes into upland bird and deer hunting. And then for the rest of the winter, we do snowshoe hare hunting.
And I came along was a snowshoe company. This snowshoe company had been made from a long time for a variety of different people. I said, I'm going to make a shoe that will come flat down and carry the weight over the center of the shoe, and one I can back up with. So this is how this started. And then I invented this snowshoe called a rabbit hunter. We were rabbit hunters, and I built this for rabbit hunting. I weighed 265 pounds. I needed a shoe that would keep me up in a thick, heavy cover that was maneuverable and easy to get around with.
New England is home to some of the most iconic hunting, fishing, and conservation opportunities in the world. Striped bass, whitetails in the big woods and suburbs, native brook trout, Maine moose, and the list goes on. Alongside these opportunities is a world-class, local-driven outdoor industry that is honed into the unique needs of New England hunting and angling. The Hunt Fish New England podcast brings you the men, women, and lore behind this region's incredible outdoor industry. This is hunting. This is fishing. This is New England. You related to Gordie Howe, the hockey player?
No, but I wish I was. I'm a hockey fan. I haven't missed a Bruins game in over 20 years.
Viewership?
Yeah.
Do you guys make it down to TD at all?
Once a year.
Nice.
Yeah. Usually when they give away their shirts. Because we're always busy during the hunting season.
Yep.
So we have to wait till after March 1st.
Got it. Did you guys grow up playing hockey?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, nice.
We played all the way through school and through college and beyond that. And men's leagues and stuff like that.
Great. All right. So let's get into it.
Okay.
Thank you guys in advance for coming on. It means a lot, especially we love having the multi-generational companies on.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to focus on that topic especially.
You lead. We'll go.
All right. So why don't you guys introduce yourselves, and we can start with one company at a time.
Yep.
You guys have a lot going on, but it's all amazing, I think. Should we start where it all began?
Sure. It's up to you.
All right, Bob.
Start as the lodge or as the not-for-profit or the snowshoes?
Let's start with, we got the snowshoe here. Let's start with the snowshoes.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
We purchased the lodge in 1989, and I came along was a snowshoe company. This snowshoe company had been made from a long time for a variety of different people. I went back as far as a guy named Walter York, which lived in Kiratunk, Maine. And he made these snowshoes for a long period of time that was passed on. So when we purchased the lodge, we made snowshoes, and I had the guides making them all winter, because we were basically a bear hunting lodge back then.
Okay.
To move on to do other things. So all winter my guides made snowshoes. And as we expanded I started taking snowshoe hare hunters.
Mm-hmm.
And we were using the snowshoes that were made back then. And I said, these things just do not perform like they need to.
Right.
I'm in thick, heavy cover. I can't back up. I got to go around all the time.
Yeah, forwards only. There's no reverse in this
and
vehicle.
I said, they're all tail draggers. That means the tail of the shoe drags.
Yep.
So it comes into the snow differently. It comes in tail first. I said, I'm going to make a shoe that will come flat down and carry the weight over the center of the shoe, and one I can back up with. So this is how this started. And then I invented this snowshoe called a rabbit hunter. We were rabbit hunters, and I built this for rabbit hunting. I weighed 265 pounds. I needed a shoe that would keep me up in a thick, heavy cover that was maneuverable and easy to get around with.
So a beginning part of your design to counteract that is the back bevel here. Yeah. Talk us through the anatomy of the shoe.
All right. These pieces of wood are cut ourselves. We cut them in the right area, and they have to have at least 7 grains per inch. And what I'm referring to is how many grains there are on rings of the tree.
Sure.
We only use approximately 2.5 inches on every board to make a snowshoe because it's been bolt cut. It's cut to push against the snow, so it'll have flexibility under carrying heavy loads.
Okay, I see what you mean with the grains now. Yeah.
But it has to be cut when the wood is wet. And if it dries out, you can't put moisture back into the cell. So it has to be cut and utilized. If it doesn't, we seal the end and put it in the pond, let it dry.
Okay.
Make sure it stays wet until we cut it. Then we do them all at once and keep them in the shade. Then they got to be sanded, planed, and this is one piece. This is 10 feet long.
Wow.
But to make the molecules in that piece of wood bend and stay like that is a trick. And it took us a while to figure out how to do it, but we have. Now we make snowshoe wheelchairs. We make furniture. Yep.
So I work in like the rehab world, so like I'm familiar with wheelchairs and all that.
Sure.
What is a snowshoe wheelchair? They didn't talk about that in grad school.
They didn't. No.
No.
Well, it's a wooden snowshoe.
Yep.
It's a wooden chair with a snowshoe back, all made out of wood, round wooden wheels, brakes, the whole works. And I went to have it inspected, and it was so difficult to go through a federal inspection to sell these that we donated them. And we have them in the Pentagon, we have them in all
No
different-
way.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And they're made for indoors. But anyway,
Very cool.
that all happened because we made this shoe, this rabbit hunter, and experimented with it, and we made this out of neoprene at first. But neoprene, the price went up so high that it wasn't feasible for people to buy them. So we had to find a company or another material to make this.
The webbing.
The webbing.
Yep.
And I tried and tried to find a rope company in the state of Maine to do this, and none of them really wanted to. Finally, I found an engineer and a company to build this for me. This is 7 times stronger than nylon, 5 times stronger than a parachute cord. Will not stretch, gather any moisture, has a UV killer in it. No bugs and squirrels will eat it.
Nice. So
And-
storage is no problem.
Well, a lot of my people in British Columbia, Saskatchewan, Alaska, put these in their trapping shed.
Right.
Hang them up, and they said we'd come back and the squirrels ate them. They don't do these anymore.
So the wood, local in Maine.
Yep. Every piece is made in Maine.
Wow.
Yep.
Incredible. And it's got Bingham engraved or burned on there. Is that the headquarters for the snowshoe
It
company
is
now?
really Pleasant Ridge.
Okay.
But there's only 40 people that live in that town.
Yeah, we were
put
talking about that
Bingham,
before we
Maine.
started.
See, it's the same zip code.
Tell us about Pleasant Ridge real quick.
Pleasant Ridge is a township. It's
Yep.
It's a plantation. It was where the river is now, where the lake is, Wyman Lake. And back in years ago, that was a perfect place when Central Maine Power owned it to put a dam. So they went to the people in town and asked them if they would move higher on the ridge. And they voted on it and decided they would. So they came in. It was like a 3-year project where they cut all the trees, left the building standing, and flooded it and made Wyman Lake. And everybody moved higher on the ridge.
Got it.
But nothing is ever for sale on Pleasant Ridge. The people that live there do not sell. They
I don't think they should.
They just stay there forever, and there's royalties for doing this. And but it's just completely different. The ridge is different. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. So the shoe has won some awards,
Won
or
a
has
lot
been
of
involved in a lot of high caliber sport and things. Tell us about that.
This shoe is, I started experimenting with us wearing it and other.
All right, can I check it out real quick?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Keep going, Bob.
Sure. Us wearing it, experimenting with it, keep testing it, trialing it, and it had to stay as light as an aluminum snowshoe,
Yep.
but with a lot more flexibility. If you went on my website, you can see how I walk on it at 260 pounds, walking beside a guy at 180 on aluminum. He's sinking to his knee, and I'm sinking approximately 3 inches.
You showed me those pictures. It was like a bird had stepped like as
Right.
deep as a bird step would be. It was phenomenal.
And you can tell this track
Thank you.
anywhere in an airplane because
Yeah.
it makes a clean track. A regular tail dragger makes a dirty track. It throws the snow on both sides of the
That's
track.
what I noticed, especially like ice fishermen who wear them.
Exactly.
A cloud of snow dust behind them, and
Well,
it's like, how does that even work?
Well, these holes in here is what's holding you up. We design the holes according to what area in the world you are in. Like the guys out in Idaho are on dry, fluffy snow. We have to downsize the size of the hole to walk on fluffy snow. This size has been done for New England, where we have, and the snow changes all the time.
Yeah.
There's probably 17 different kinds of snow, depending on how much moisture is in the snow. So the same shoe has to be able to perform in all those categories, see? And these aren't made for sidewalk walkers. These are made for people that make a living on snowshoes. Surveyors, timber cruisers, the tactical team, the state police wear them all in Maine, in other states all over the United States. Game wardens in 17 different states wear them. Special forces wear them. I sent them to Alaska and had them test in their analyzing test lab in Alaska, and they went through the whole thing. So anyway,
Okay.
there's a big following on this shoe all over the United States. I just can't make them fast enough.
Right.
But that's another whole story, is how they're made and what really happens to these. I am really an outfitter that makes snowshoes, and I couldn't do them fast enough. So my not-for-profit, one of the gentlemen that came was a teacher at a prison, and he said, "Hey, Bob, would you teach prisoners to make these snowshoes?" And I said, "Nope, I spent a whole lifetime staying out of that joint." And he said, "Oh, no, this is a minimum security prison, and these are people getting ready to come back to society. They have 2 to 3 years left, and they need skills." So we went back and forth, and after a period of time, they decided to send one to the lodge. And this was over a 1.5 year long process, and the gentleman's name was Tom Sands, that headlined it at the Charleston Correctional Institute in Maine. And we met with the commissioners and all their attorneys and stuff and made sure it was all good, and we did it. And I brought them to the lodge, showed them how to make them, and then I said, "Take all this equipment back to the prison, the frames, and you make them, and my not-for-profit will purchase them from you." So that shoe is actually owned by Maine Pine Grove Programs, which is a registered 501c3 that takes veterans, policemen, and firemen hunting and fishing for free every week.
Wow. Through all seasons?
All seasons.
Bear through duck?
450 guys a year I bring for free.
Wow.
This is how I fund it. But the prison has made the frames, sells it to Maine Guide Snowshoes. See, Pine Grove Programs owned it, sells it to Maine Guide Snowshoes for a percentage, and that's what I use to fund this not-for-profit.
Wow.
Then they're tied by prisoners that are out on the street now or disabled vets.
Giving
they
them
make a living tying them, along with women with kids with Down syndrome, all different kinds.
That round of applause was for those guys, but it was really for you.
No.
What you just did, that was like perfect
we
timing.
We didn't do nothing.
That is such an amazing story. So that program's still going right now.
It goes all the time.
Incredible. So let's get into it a little bit more with Pine Grove Lodge. And it sounds like the lodge happened. You needed some shoes. You wanted to give the guys stuff to do after bear season. That resulted in the evolution of the shoe.
Right.
But we have your son Wyatt here, who's going to be taking over the lodge.
Right.
Let's talk about Pine Grove Lodge and Cabins, what you guys offer, and just what it's like to be the initial owner and to pass it down into a second generation.
Wyatt grew up in the lodge. He was born there. So has spent a whole lifetime. I used to carry him in a pack basket fly fishing in the river. Nice. I carried him in a pack basket rabbit hunting, and he would carry the rabbits in a pack basket because we had sports. We don't hunt. We just have people every day. So we don't carry a gun because they didn't pay me to go hunting. But he was a rabbit carrier and that type of thing. And after he's a graduate from Norwich, and he's a cadet from there, and thought he was going to work for something in the law enforcement field, and then decided, I think I want to be an outfitter and do what you're doing. So he can tell you now what he wants to do.
Did you, just real quick, did you go to the Big Woods Bucks last night? They talked about like the lifestyle of a outfitter or anything like that?
I didn't make it there.
It was like kind of like the same story. Some guys, like, they had this idea what they wanted to do, but they're like, nah, like, I want to get into outfitting, I want to be outside, that type of thing, like give people good experiences.
Yeah, definitely. I spent quite a bit of time like traveling during college. I spent some time in different cities across the world, really. And after that, I kind of came back and I was like, it's not for me.
Right.
Being somewhere in the woods, taking people on trips, and giving people a memorable experience is kind of what I want to do.
Yeah,
So,
and then continuing the legacy your dad started.
exactly.
So what does Pine Grove Lodge offer right now for services?
We do stuff just about any time of the year. Anything from wild turkey in the spring all the way through, we have about 35 remote trout ponds
No way.
that are within like a half an hour drive of our lodge.
Yep.
So we offer remote brook trout pond fishing, and then that goes into bear hunting, which then goes into upland bird and deer hunting. And then for the rest of the winter, we do snowshoe hare hunting.
Phenomenal. Good year for brook trout, I hear, with all the
Yeah.
rain and stuff, keeping the ponds cool.
Yeah, it was great. It's been really good. I spent quite a bit of time on the ponds, and I've had quite a few really good days.
And you take spin fishermen, fly fishermen, everybody?
Anyone. We can do anything. I'm a fly fisherman, like by trade. I've taught a lot of people how to do it, and that's what I specialize in. But I can do pretty much anything.
All right, and you got your guide's license and all that already?
Yep.
You're ready to roll?
Ready to rock and roll.
All right. Bob, what's it mean to you to have your son take over the business?
That's a really good thing. It's pretty unique to see him learn from being part of it, but to now start to take control. And even when he was 3 years old, we would be in Harrisburg doing a show there, and he would be wearing a guide patch and a guide passing out brochures, and so about 1,200 people a year go through the lodge. So, and we've been there for 26 years.
Wow.
So a lot of people know him from day one. See, we haven't taken any new customers for a long time.
Okay.
Because I have an 82% total return every year. So
That's saying something.
now Wyatt wants to take over, and was trying to retire because I thought he was going to go work for the FBI or for other organizations for the government, but now he isn't. So this is why we decided to come to this show, is to have an opening for him and just to meet all the people in this industry as an adult, not just a young fella back then, because he was gone to school for 4 years.
Yep. So taking the reins, essentially.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of good shows in Maine, too, obviously. Right, the Augusta show and some
Yep.
others, too.
There's several. We'll be
I
there.
suspect you guys will be there, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So, what's it looking like for bear this year? What do you guys offer for bear services?
Wyatt can tell you.
Well, we haven't done much bear in the recent past.
Yep.
We have quite a few baits, but we have been putting almost all of our attention for bear hunting on our nonprofit.
Got it.
So we basically have solely taken people from our nonprofit bear hunting. Last year we took 38 people
Nice.
on completely free bear hunts,
Yep.
and now we will take 2 or 3 paying customers just to kind of help us fund everything.
Sure.
But that's about all we've done, and we've had good success with that. And now that I'm coming into this, I'm kind of trying to ramp it up a little bit. Not a ton, but we'll take a few more.
Yeah, it's hard for me to realize how much you guys are actually doing, right? The not-for-profit's like its own business in itself, and you guys are, full-fledged into both of them. And it makes sense, like, you're putting guys on baits,
Yes.
essentially.
Yep.
And I'm sure there's some guys and gals with, like, mobility issues or whatever, so the baits are a perfect opportunity for them.
Yeah, we keep several of our baits that are actually wheelchair accessible, so we can help them into the stand, and we'll help them all the way through.
Awesome. So then what do you guys got going on after bear?
After bear, we do kind of upland bird, and we will do some early snowshoe hare hunts.
Fun.
Like October is snowshoe hare hunting. We'll still be doing some fishing. We do some cast and blast trips where they go bird hunting and then rabbit hunting and
That
fishing.
sounds like a blast.
It is. It's a lot of fun. And then we are all throughout the summer and throughout the fall leading up to deer season, we're getting ready. And even throughout the winter. We're in the woods every day, all year. And every day that we're in there is just scouting.
Sure. Yeah, it's like scout in, scout out, right? No matter
Exactly.
what you're doing.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you guys want to talk about that we didn't cover? We kind of bounced around, but I think we did a good job. We covered the Pine Grove program, the Maine Guide Snowshoes, as well as the Pine Grove Lodge and Cabins. Anything else about either of those you guys want to plug?
See, most of our work done we're really deer hunters, rabbit hunters, and fishermen by trade. That's what we basically zero in on. And I think right now we have over 100 deer stands out, 45 ground blinds, and 14 huts.
Wow.
And a lot of them are all set in the wintertime on snowmobile and tracked vehicles. We can travel over the top of these chop-ins, set them up, pinpoint them exactly, cut our shooting lanes, do all the work we need to do ahead of time. All we have to do is visit again one more time in October, make sure that the tree hasn't loosened up or put straps on them.
Or fallen.
Then we reflag them. We flag them in and bright eye them out so the hunters can find their ways in and out.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. And but we can't guarantee you're going to get a big deer.
Right.
But I can guarantee you're going to eat well.
Yeah, I was going to ask. I'm sure a lot of the repeat customers are coming back for the full experience, which includes the lodging and food.
Yeah. A lot of our guys actually will have a competition to see who can gain more weight.
They all put $20 in the pot, and they get on a scale when they register in, and then they have a weight registered down, and they see how much they can gain.
That's funny. I got to tell my fishing camp guys that.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Wyatt works for a fishing camp in Maine.
Yeah.
And it's the oldest. You can tell them.
It's the oldest private fishing camp in the country. I think they have their like a couple 100-year-old cabins and stuff.
Wow.
Yep.
Up by you guys?
North of us.
Okay. It's fly fishing, everything?
Only fly fishing.
Okay.
Yep.
So you're a diehard fly fisherman.
I am.
Do you mess around with the Maine fly fishing company at all?
A little bit.
I just found out about them this year. I want to really look into their stuff. They're starting to make rails and things.
Yeah, they have a lot of great stuff.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Wyatt is starting a fly rod company called Square Tail Rods.
That's a cool name.
Yeah, I mean we don't have enough to do, so we need to branch out more.
Yeah, you guys are making me feel like underachiever.
Yeah, so I'm gonna offer like fully inclusive classes.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what I'm gonna focus on. Where you'll come to the lodge, you'll spend a weekend. We'll provide everything for you. Saturday, you'll make the rod, and then the next day, we'll actually have the opportunity to go out on a guided fishing trip and use your rod to catch some fish.
Wow, that's something I've never heard of.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so more to come on that.
More to come.
Will you keep me posted when that happens?
I will, definitely.
Okay, awesome. You know, I feel like we could talk all day. You guys probably have a ton of stories, but I know you got a booth you got to go man and get the name out there some more. Not that you need customers, but you got a booth set up. I really, really appreciate both of you coming on. It means a lot. And just a reminder to everybody, it's Bob and Wyatt Howe, Maine Guide Snowshoes and Furniture, Pine Grove Lodge and Cabins, and their not-for-profit, the Pine Grove Program. Mm-hmm. All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.